It being 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Township of McNabb Braeside Council to order for Tuesday, December 21st. Be noted that Councillor Lang is absent this evening. Need a mover and seconder for the adoption of the agenda, please. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Jacob. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We're on to planning matters 4.1, Renfrew Cannabis Recommendations Report. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Broom, Councillor Jacob. Are there any questions or comments on this? This is quite an extensive report, but I think it pretty well sticks to the information that we were given, I'll say, a couple of years ago. Fairly well. There might be an odd change in it, but it's there for your information. We had I was fortunate enough to have a look through or a go through of it at County Council. So does anyone on council have a question or comment on this report? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting as information? Carried. Thank you. We're on to the adoption of previous council minutes, 7.1 through 6, and I'll take a mover and seconder for all 6, please. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Broom. November the 16th, 7.1 regular council meeting. Any questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor as presented? Carried. 7.2, December 7th, public meeting under the Planning Act. Questions, comments? All in favor as submitted? Carried. Thank you. December 7th, a regular council meeting. Questions, comments? All in favor as submitted? Carried. 7.4, December the 8th, special council meeting. Questions, comments? Councillor Broom, please. No? Okay. If there's no questions or comments, all in favor of the minutes as submitted? Carried. Thank you. 7.5, the December 9th special council meeting. Questions, comments? All in favor as the minutes have been submitted? Carried. Thank you. 7.6, December 13th special council meeting. Questions or comments? All in favor of the minutes as they were submitted or have been submitted? Carried. Thank you. We're on to item 8, reports of Committee of Council. 8.1 is the rubber tired excavator. And I'll just read the recommendation first, that Council for the Township of McNabb Braeside authorize the Public Works Department to use a request for a proposal for the purchase of a new rubber tired excavator complete with ditching bucket and forestry mulching head. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Jacob. Any questions or comments from council? Mr. Frew, do you have anything to add to your report?
No, it's mainly just to allow us to get this RFP out right after the budget pass. Otherwise, we would have to wait till the January meeting in order to get this evaluation criteria passed based on our procurement.
Thank you. If there's no questions or comments, all in favor of the recommendation? That's carried. We're on to 8.2, Village of White Lake Road Renewal. Sorry, it's taking a minute to load here.
I guess I can read the recommendation for you. It says that council for the Township of McNabb Braeside approve the final road design and authorize the Public Works Department to issue the tender for the Village of White Lake Road renewal. So this report just kind of outlines the progression.
I have to get a mover and seconder then, Ryan.
Oh.
Thank you.
So, all right.
Councillor Broom, Councillor Jacob. Okay, Ryan.
So this is just information on the project, and also shows the information that was provided during a public information session that was held during November. From that, we really just received two questions that are outlined in this report. One just being about tree clearing, and the other about if there are any potential sidewalks being added to Point Road.
Okay, thank you. Questions from council members? Seeing none, all in favor of the recommendation? Carried, thank you. 8.3 replacement V plow for truck 18. Recommendation that council for the Township of McNabb Braeside authorize the Public Works Department to proceed with the purchase of the replacement V plow for truck 18, and that the purchase be funded through the capital asset replacement reserve. And the information there is that there are, hopefully it's still available. There's only one plow available. They'd like to go ahead and order that plow right away. So we make sure we get one, because there's no telling when we'll be able to get another one. There's no others in stock that staff are aware of. Questions or comments? And Deputy Mayor Armstrong? No?
Oh, I thought Lindsay was going to jump in. I think we need a mover and seconder, sir.
I got them. Yes, I did. It was Councillor Broom and Councillor Jacob for mover and seconder.
My apologies.
Wasn't that for the White Lake Road?
No,
I didn't hear one for this one. Okay.
right after I read the recommendation, I asked for the mover and seconder, and it was Councillor Broom and Councillor Jacob. Mr. Frew, do you have any additional comments other than the recommendation?
No, but I think Kevin has mentioned as of today, it was still available. So,
okay. If there's no questions from members of council, all in favor of the recommendation? It's carried. Thank you. Eight point four, growth related policies. The recommendation is that the council for the Township of McNabb Braeside accept this report as information as submitted and circulated, and that staff is directed to respond to the county based on the concerns raised in this report, and further that council provide any additional comments to the CAO clerk. Questions or comments from council members? Oh, you got me. Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Broom. Questions or comments from council members? Okay. This has come up because all across Renfrew County, there's a lot of growth going on, and especially in areas where there's county infrastructure. And we're at the county, we're trying to find out or get a consensus of how to move forward and having this work paid for by the county and or in cooperation with the municipality involved. There's no questions. All in favor of the recommendation? Carried. Thank you. We're on to information items. 9.1 Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks updating noise prediction methods. Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Jacob. Questions, comments? All in favor of receiving his information? Carried. 9.2 Nature Conservatory of Canada, Gillies Grove proposed trail improvements. Mover and seconder. Councillor Jacob, Councillor Broom. Questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Armstrong.
I was just, I read through this and I couldn't help but reminisce about trying to make my way from Sandy Hook to Walter's Auto to go to school on my bike, and the trails that we used to ride all the time, just either to get to school or just to have fun. And I thought it's great to see that there's a revitalization project underway in the Grove, so that we can continue as communities to enjoy this. And if there was only parking somewhere, we might be able to allow people from outside the municipality or outside walking distance to enjoy it as well. But we all know that parking becomes an issue on Division Street. But you know what, if people are enjoying the Grove, then so be it, as long as they're doing it in a way that's not going to make unnecessary hardship on anybody else. It's fantastic. I think it's a wonderful resource for both of our communities to enjoy.
Any other comments? Saying none, all in favor of receiving his information? Carried. Thank you. On to unfinished business, Sleepy Hollow Road, mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Broom. Questions or comments? I think Ms. Lee, you have some information you wanted to share.
Well, I was asked to get information about if the possibility of having a gate that would permit four-wheelers or skidoos to go through. And the space there would not allow to have those types of gates there, because you'd be going on private property.
Thank you. Councillor Broom.
So I know this keeps coming back up. And there was one question that I forgot to ask last time. It just kept lingering and lingering on me. So I contacted Mr. Burton today to see if anybody's ever contacted him to ask permission to use the road or for a key or to even discuss what's happening. And nobody's even tried to discuss with him. So, you know, I still stand where I did at the original onset of this, that, you know, the big water hole, nobody can drive through it to start with. You're looking at 4 feet of water through there. You know, on a dry summer, you might hit 3.5 feet. So it's not like people are using the road all the time. So, you know, it just keeps coming back and back and back, and nobody's ever contacted Mr. Burton. So I just wanted to put that out because it was bugging me. So I just wanted to let everybody know that I had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Burton this afternoon on this subject, and you know, nobody once has asked him for a key or to cross his yard.
Thank you. Any other comments? I know Deputy Mayor Armstrong, you had some conversations as well.
Well, yeah, and then we had the additional email that came in last week or whatever, whenever it was from Stephen Tonalty. So, you know, there's more, I don't want to call it evidence, but there's more indication that Sleepy Hollow was used a little bit more than what maybe we had first thought. Obviously, with the snow coming, it's going to make it more difficult for truck traffic to get through the road just because it's unmaintained. But I'm wondering at a certain point in time, is it possible for us to open the gate to allow snowmobilers to go through who are just trying to find a way up the mountain? And you know, Scott said, this bloody thing just doesn't seem to want to go away. But at the same time, the more we discuss it, the more we learn, and the more we learn, the better informed we can make a decision. So as it stands, I'm thinking that at a certain point in time, we should be able to open the gate and let the snowmobilers through. The risk of people going up there with half-ton loads of garbage would be diminished. And then we can readdress it in the summertime, in the springtime, to see if we can find a way to permit ATVers and to go up the road, despite the fact that Councillor Broom has mentioned that there's a hole in there that's 4 feet full of water. But regardless, we should be able to still allow the off-road vehicles to go through and dissuade the vehicle, the trucks from going through and dumping off garbage. We should be able to find a compromise with this. I certainly spend a lot of time on this issue, and it seems that the more simple an issue appears, the more complicated it becomes.
Thank you. Councillor Jacob.
I concur with the deputy mayor. I think testing it out for the winter in a way provides that opportunity to see what the use does look like, and also to get a sense as to whether any of the negative behavior continues. Of course, it's unlikely given winter conditions and the state of the road, particularly moving into the winter. But I think opening the gates at this point and then reassessing in the spring, and perhaps taking some time to look at other options when it comes to gates and those kinds of things. As the CAO pointed out, normal ATV gates won't suffice, but taking a look at what other options may exist would be helpful, and it would allow staff sufficient time to look at that while also monitoring the road. So I would support what the deputy mayor mentioned.
Thank you. Councillor Broom.
Just supplementary, I did forget to say that, you know, he did spend a lot of money this fall to try to fix up his big field that's back there. Due to people, you know, spinning around, pulling donuts per se, and wrecking that one field, he's you know, he's trying to spend money to improve the area. And, you know, it's not only that, but it's people on four-wheelers and whatever that can get back there and illegally hunt. There's a list that's happening, not just, you know, if people would stay on the road, that'd be wonderful. But it's the people that are using it for misuse that, you know, have in their head that it's crown land, to which it's not, it's private property.
Thank you. I had a brief conversation with Mr. Burton today, and he reiterated the problems. He was having the problems with the truck in there with a bunch of dead carcasses and skins and what have you, as he confronted a person actually in on the property. But he also said that exactly what Councillor Broom was saying, that ATVs are going off the roadway and tearing up areas of his property. So it's a a difficult decision. I know we closed Cannon Road, and after it's been closed and everything, things seem to have worked itself out. People can still walk on it. But that's where it is. So is there someone wanting to make a motion this evening to either open the gates or leave the gates closed? Councillor Broom?
I'd be willing to put forth a motion that we leave the gates closed and that, you know, if somebody wants to go through, that they actually speak to the property owners and try to do it, you know, do it the old way, that, you know, through a conversation. I guess I had to think twice about, you know, because it is a very tough decision. But people haven't even tried to contact the property owners. So, you know, I would put forth a motion to leave it as is and we move forward. And if they would like access, to contact Mr. Burton and do it through the landowner way.
Thank you. CAO had comment.
So just to be clear, like the landowners don't own the road. It's a road allowance, so.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor?
And the issues that the landowners are having with the people that are using the road and then going off the road, illegally hunting or doing burnouts on their fields and whatnot, you know, that's obviously unfortunate, but that's not a township matter either. I don't think that there is a solution that we can find that will appease everyone, regardless of what we choose to do. There will be somebody or groups of people that will be upset with whatever we say moving forward. So I don't know what this solution is, sir. I don't think there is one that will appease everyone.
So I do like Councillor Broom's suggestion of some of these folks contacting Mr. Burton themselves, because he did also say to me that nobody has contacted him at all. And my feeling from, you know, it's unfortunate, but from what I've seen in other areas in the township, and done by four-wheelers, and this isn't all, but there's a certain number out there that just do not abide by the rules or regulations of operating vehicles and staying off people's private property. I think I already mentioned the person in the area of my house went to the work of cleaning up all the stone and stuff in the field and got it all nicely ready to be planted. And one wet day, a four-wheeler went in onto his field and just tore up the whole field. Just went around the whole field, tore it up. So just ridiculous. So I think the deputy mayor is right. There is no good solution to this. So I'm at council's thing. Councillor Broom has put forward a motion. I'd be willing to second that motion to try it out for now and let the folks contact Mr. Burton to see if some arrangement couldn't be made that way. Councillor Jacob.
Just a question through you to the CAO clerk. Since it is a township road and, well, the township's lock that's locking the gate, Would it have to be the township that provides keys to other individuals? Mr. Burton wouldn't be able to?
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? So Councillor Broom has put forward a motion that the gates stay as they are at this point, and the folks contact Mr. Burton to see if he's willing to make some sort of concession to them. So that's the vote. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of keeping the gates closed for the time being and allowing the people, or suggesting to the people that they contact Mr. Burton. So all in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Okay, we're on to new business. 12.1. There's a recommendation. The council accept as information about the land use agreement at the township with Mr. Hamilton. I don't, the one CAO.
Lead mover and seconder.
Okay, Councillor Jacob, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. The one problem is if Councillor Lang's tree project goes ahead, there'll be reducing the area of planting by approximately 24 acres. Is Mr. Hamilton still wanting to go another year with a reduced acreage? So I'm like, I don't have the answer to that question. I know that there's also area taken up by the tower that's going up, but I'm not so sure that that's in an area that was being farmed.
I don't believe it was.
Okay,
We did take up some of his space with the trail, which he was fine with because it didn't
yeah,
take up too much space. He's just wondering because he has to do work on it and buy the seeds and everything for the following year. But also we would have to plant grass or do something with the ground. We can't just leave it as it is and plant trees on top of it. So we just need to know, like, is there a time frame for the trees or?
my understanding is next spring.
And that's if we get a grant, or that's for sure happening?
I'd have to ask Councillor Lang. She's the lead on this. All the conversations I've been involved with is that the trees are going to be planted in the spring. And the people we've been talking to are basically saying that the trees are going to be provided for very little money, and the Rotary Club is putting in, I believe, $1,500 towards trees, and I think they're going to cost something like 60 or 70 cents a tree. Or
And I guess staff just have questions too about maintenance of the ground around the trees and that kind of stuff. Because right now we don't have to maintain the property at all, right? I mean, Mr. Hamilton takes care of it.
Yep.
So do you want me just to bring this back in January
I think you're
when
going
we
to
might
have
know
to.
better? Or?
I think you're going to have to, and perhaps we can send a note to Councillor Lang asking about about that, and she'll have that information and can bring that back in January. Councillor Broom, you had your hand up?
I was just going to suggest that we bring this back to the first meeting in January. That's all, sir.
Okay, well, it won't be the first meeting. It could be, first
Sure.
meeting is just going to be for the passing of the budget. So is council all right with staff direction to bring this back at a later date with more information? And perhaps we could find out from Mr. Hamilton if he would still want to do the area left without the 24 acres or so that has been planned for the trees. So all in favor of the staff direction? Carried, thank you. 12.2. I guess a request from OVCATA Bike Bank. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Broom, Councillor Jacob. Questions or comments on this? I like the idea of what they're doing. The $100 they're looking for. My suggestion for that would be maybe the rec department could hold some sort of event, cycling event, sort of perhaps in collaboration with Mr. Callens to raise $100 for the bikes. No, it's not a lot of money, but I think we have our budget set, and that's an area where I think they could easily raise $100 for that. Questions, comments? Councillor Broom?
I think that's a wonderful idea. You know, they could raise a little bit more and get, you know, some more bikes, as long as the community jumps on board. And it's a good thing for them as well. They can judge if it's going to fly or not fly within the community. They have a very good turnout for this, then maybe we want to look at something every year adding to it. That's a great idea.
There's I see around the township more and more people on bicycles all the time. A lot of people are not only on the Algonquin Trail, but all the roadways as well. Okay, so I guess it would be staff direction to have the rec department organize a fundraiser in regards to raising $100 towards this bike bank, as they're calling it. All in favor of the staff direction? Carried, thank you. 12.3, light at the White Lake Boat Launch. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Broom. So this was brought up at budget time. Do we have a problem?
I was asked to have it at the meeting. Or a council meeting.
For what reason? Was it me that asked for it? No? Councillor Jacob?
If council will recall from the cut keep session, we had a discussion about sending a letter to a member of parliament to seek advocacy on this file. So I had suggested during the meeting that it come forward to council for formal consideration.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay. So we're looking for, would it be appropriate with just staff direction, Ms. Lee? Or do we need a resolution?
It would be better with a resolution.
Thank you. Councillor Jacob, you're making that recommendation. We need a seconder. Councillor Broom. Questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 12.4 Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry Compliance Assessment Report, Aggregate Resources Act, Braeside Quarry. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Jacob. Come on, come on. Is there any questions or comments? Is this the report that Ms. Moore asked for? Was looking in regards to? So if council has no questions or about it, we should just send a copy of this to Ms. Moore. No, CAO, I see you shaking your head. Why would we not?
Because I don't want to get in the habit of having to send them out when they come in. If public wants to see them, they can come in the office and see them.
Well, I think in this particular case, she requested that or brought up the question about it and wondered why we didn't have one, or if I remember the email. Deputy Clerk?
It is part of the public record now on our meeting site. She can go and retrieve it or read it herself.
Okay.
On the site.
Okay, Councillor Jacob.
Just a comment on a question. Exactly what the deputy clerk just mentioned. Just in future, when we receive them, if they can be council information, that would be perfect. And my question through you, Mr. Mayor, to the CAO clerk, was this the copy received from the ministry? The only reason that I ask is because the ministry section at the bottom that says it was accepted isn't filled out.
Yeah, this was the copy we received from them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor of receiving this information? Carried, thank you. On to bylaws, 14.1 bylaw 2021-89 procedural bylaw. Mover and seconder. Councillor Jacob, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. Questions and comments? I believe the only change for this one is that our meetings starting in 2022 will commence at 6 o'clock in the evening instead of 7 o'clock. Okay, all in favor, Deputy Mayor Armstrong?
Oh, geez, I lost you there. There were a couple other things highlighted. One of which is bane of my existence, having to do with parking passes. If you scroll down through the boat launches, the boat launch passes are still called.
That's I believe that's under fees and charges and stuff.
Oh, my bad. Am I in the wrong part of the minute?
This is the procedural bylaw.
Okay, my bad, sorry.
Okay. Any other questions on bylaw 89, procedural bylaw? All in favor of the bylaw? Carried, thank you. 14.2 bylaw 2021-90 fees and charges. Mover and seconder. Councillor Broom, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. I believe this is where the boat launch fees have been changed for non-residents of McNabb Braeside. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it going from $75 to 100. My issue is that the pass still says parking, and we don't charge for parking. And on top of that, I had people calling me this winter who were unloading their snowmobiles in the parking lot down here at Red Pine Bay. And why does my dog wait until I speak to have a drink? Pardon the interruption, but in dog years, he's 90 some years old. So I had people calling me saying that they were being charged by bylaw or fined by bylaw for not having a pass in their windshield for unloading their snowmobiles off their trailer and going out onto the river. And because it's a parking pass, but it's not a parking pass, it's a pass to use the launch. And this seems to be a thing, that it's accepted that people that have the fancy pants trailers with the double snowmobile trailers that are covered dick and down, they understand that they need to buy a pass to unload their sleds at Red Pine Bay and then go out on the river. I'd never heard of this before, but apparently it's a thing. I always thought it was a boat launch pass, period.
That was my thinking as well. I didn't hear of anything about charging people to park and unload their snowmobiles. This is a boat launch pass. CAO.
It's always been an annual pass. You need it year round.
But they're not
To launch your boat.
They're not launching
We're
boats.
not launching a boat in the winter. But we still
Yes,
have to plow, the parking lot and everything for them to use for their snowmobiles. It's always been, when people pay for the year, it's not for the season of the summer, they pay for the whole year. And bylaw monitors it the whole year.
Councillor Jacob.
So just to confirm through you to the CAO, so if someone is just visiting the township and only here during winter, should they pay for parking or not?
Yes, if they have a trailer on the back of their vehicle, yes. The only time people don't have to pay is if there's no trailer.
Deputy Mayor Armstrong.
Am I the only one that doesn't see the sense in this, the logic in this? It's a boat launch pass. We're using it to raise money to offset the maintenance and upkeep of a boat launch.
And the parking area
But
in the winter and the summer.
but we don't charge people to upkeep the Braeside RA or the JAG parking lot or the parking lot at the at McNabb Park.
But we
don't
never do.
charge for, we don't charge for parking, period, point final. Like, we charge to people to use the launch. We don't charge people to,
But at the
park.
Ball Diamond, we don't have to plow it in the winter. We have to plow
well, nobody
the other
says we have
area.
to plow it.
I
People
thought-
that complain when it's not done.
I thought we plowed it for the people to get the ice shacks out onto the ice. Park their vehicles there to go out onto the ice. A lot of them park their vehicle and
Walk it.
unload their snowmobile and drive out onto the ice on the snowmobile to go.
Yeah,
to
so
the
they're still
ice shack.
parking their vehicle in the parking lot that we have to plow.
Deputy Mayor?
What about the person that parks the car and walks out to the ice shack? We don't do anything for them.
Yeah, you're plowing the parking lot for them to park their
No, but
car
they
to walk
they
out.
don't pay though, is what I'm saying. So if you're an active transportation type person and you drive down and you walk out to the ice shack, you don't have to pay anything. But if you are lazy like me and take your sled out to the ice shack, you're gonna get charged either $75 or $50 to buy a pass, or you're gonna get hit by bylaw because you're lazy.
Mhm.
I never knew that was a thing until last year.
I never knew it was a thing either until you brought it up tonight.
Well, we've always had the annual pass. It's never been a season pass. So I don't know how you want to change it, but because if it's just a launch pass, then are we gonna like charge for people that want to just kayak also? They're using the launch.
Usually they come in on with their kayaks on top of the roof of the vehicle or in the
Right,
back.
but they're still using the launch, so then we have to charge them now?
Well,
No, because they go out, they take their kayak off the car and they walk onto the beach and go out.
They
onto the
don't
beach.
though. They go to the launch.
do we have video on that?
Yes, I do actually.
Well, I'll stand by the fact that in my understanding for 7 years that this is a boat launch pass, period. It's not a parking pass.
Yeah.
It's not a trailer pass. It's a boat launch pass. You use the boat launch, you pay for the pass. And we've had the discussions about kayakers and canoeists and anybody else that wants to go down and use the place. We've had those discussions. We, as a council, decided that we were not going to charge for that we were going to charge only for the usage of the launch itself, not to park, not to trailer, not to whatever.
Councillor Jacob?
What I might suggest perhaps is we look at pausing the enforcement aspect during the winter months. Whether people decide to pay for parking or not during the winter, my assumption is it isn't a large number of people that do, and that we could forego that revenue that we may have from sending bylaw enforcement to do ticketing during the winter and just take a pause on the enforcement aspect.
So it's not gonna change our fee with bylaw. Can we stop plowing the parking lot then too?
No,
Who's gonna pay for that?
township. Same as we pay for plowing the parking lot at our municipal buildings and our fire halls and everywhere else. It's township property. Deputy Mayor?
And if we had a winter event at McNabb Central Park, we'd have to plow. It's access to an asset.
And when there's a new building going in there, will we not be, or should we not be prudent and at least plow at MCP a way in for fire vehicles?
Oh, I'm not sure on that, sir.
No. I mean, there's a giant metal gate there that they'd have to still get through. If they can get through the gate, they can get through some snow.
Hmm. Well, Councillor Jacob.
just a question through you to the CIO clerk. So if council was to decide to not enforce boat launch parking during the winter months, would it be possible to reallocate the bylaw enforcement officers to other actions like on-street parking during the winter and those kinds of things?
They already do that.
Well, I think we need, I guess we're going to have to bring this back to a future meeting with a recommendation, either to keep enforcing the parking with a trailer bylaw if there's people with snowmobile trailers, or not, or just keep the fee there for a boat trailer. This is the only thing I can see, and council will have to decide and pass a bylaw and move forward. So can we defer this to next year? And in the meantime, have bylaw stop enforcing the parking at Red Pine Bay and for vehicles with snowmobile trailers until we come up with a solution one way or the other.
I mean, yeah, if that's the direction that council wants to give us, but can we?
You want to do it now?
No, I want to still pass this bylaw, but just make the changes not on the parking section. I want to still pass the bylaw with all the other changes made.
Okay, so we're going to set aside the parking part of the bylaw and bring it back and pass the bylaw as amended.
Yeah.
Councillor Jacob?
Just one thing that I would note, I don't oppose the change in the fee for non-resident boat launch passes. So if council wanted to pass the bylaw as presented, I would personally support that. But as long as we have that conversation about how the enforcement aspect would have at the next meeting, the amount of money non-residents are paying, that isn't contingent on us making that enforcement decision. So we could pass the bylaw as it's been presented.
Councillor Broom?
I'd second that because I agree,
Well,
you know,
we don't need a seconder if we already has, if we're going to just pass the bylaw as presented. But you're in support of Councillor Jacob's suggestion.
Yeah.
So are we good then, CAO?
If you vote in favor of it, we're good, yeah.
In favor of the bylaw, is it? But you're going to have to bring back the part about the parking for snowmobile trailers.
Yep.
Okay. So does everybody understand what we're doing now? We're going to pass the bylaw as is and bring back the part about the snowmobile trailers. All in favor of the bylaw as presented? Carried, thank you. Bylaw 14.3, 2021-91 Madawaska Shores lift the holding symbol. Mover and seconder, Councillor Broom, Councillor Jacob. I think we discussed this earlier this evening. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the bylaw? Carried, thank you. Bylaw 2021-92 zoning bylaw amendment, Garlow. Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Jacob. This also has been through the Planning Advisory Committee meetings. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the bylaw? Carried, thank you. 14.5 bylaw 2021-93, appoint MLES officers for enforcement. Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Armstrong, Councillor Broom. Questions, comments? All in favor of the bylaw? Carried, thank you. There any members of the public wishing to speak on anything that was discussed in tonight's meeting?
Yes. Mandy, can you, thank you.
Hello?
Hello, Jim,
Yep, how are you all tonight?
we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm back on about the Sleepy Hollow Road again. There's a few things that I need to talk about, and that's one of the options Mr. Burton has is to put a fence on his property, along his property. It's only a small section down in there that he actually has. That's one way of keeping people out. Now, the four-wheeler issue about that wasn't on the letter at all, the first letter. This is another add-on that's come into effect. I don't know if there's any pictures or anything at all, if we have any information, just like the garbage or whatever, but again, there's just more, it seems like more stuff coming up. But my point really is the point of you're more worried about the so-called garbage than you are about the people of this municipality going over the mountain and getting injured on four-wheelers or snowmobiles. Is that correct? Am I understanding you right? Because I'm going to hold you accountable if anybody gets injured going over the mountain.
It's not correct.
Well, what am I missing? I'm not understanding something. Mr. Burton has already given a key out to Ron Robillard, who is a hunter right there that hunts that property. So I can't see the issue being hunting because he's already given a key out. And what right would Sean Burton have to dangle a key out? You know, if you're okay with me, I can give you a key to a road that we all own. This is crazy. What is going on here? This man has no right to dangle a key over. I didn't hear one word about the other property owner. Did she get any calls? It's, you know what? This is right out of control what's going on here for Mr. Burton.
I understand you and Mr. Burton have been acquaintances for some time.
Yes, and we were acquaintances before when he bought the property. I know all what he's doing in there. We've talked about it all. I've driven that road on my four-wheeler. The hole is not 4 feet deep of water. My daughter and me drive through it on our four-wheelers. There was never this garbage, and I got previous landowners, same thing. They can tell you, no, you know what? This is way out of hand, but yeah, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bear down. It's not going away, and it's going to get tougher because this is ridiculous.
So Jim, I'm suggesting that you contact Mr. Burton and try and make some sort of an arrangement.
You know what? I'm not seeing, I'm seeing the problem now with you guys agreeing to this. I can't understand. Somebody four-wheeling, if I find garbage in my yard in a four-wheeling truck, are you guys going to come and address it? What is going on, guys? Really? What are we doing here? What are you protecting? You're sending us over the mountain. You're blocking the road for what reason? You've got no pictures of garbage. You got no nothing. Oh, this is very frustrating, but it's not going away. I guarantee you this is not going away. And this man is not going to dangle a key to that gate over like this. If if I'm your buddy, I'm going to get it. It's not going to happen. This is going to get
It
corrected
won't be
one way or
whether
another.
you're your buddy or not. It's whether the people will abide by the rules or not, Jim.
Everybody else fences their yard. Put a fence up then if they're so-called whatever. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Give me the proof.
We will get more discussion with Mr. Burton and we'll try and get you the proof.
Okay, that would be a good start.
Okay. So,
In the meantime, it's getting closer and we're going to be going over that mountain. Just remember.
well, nobody, I don't know, I've been around this area for a long, long time. I don't know anybody that drives a four-wheeler or a snowmobile down the White Lake Road going down the mountain. And never before have done that.
They're taking the other road, Sleepy
Oh,
Hollow. That's
there-
the road we take.
There
Chris
must,
takes it, Big Steve takes it, I take it, Mikey takes it, we all take it.
so there must be another way out the other side of White Lake down the mountain through the back roads in that direction. Is there not?
No, there is not.
Hmm.
Not without going through private land. Now,
There's
there's
roadways.
a six concession road, but you have to go through some private property.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll try and get some proof from Mr. Burton and we'll carry on discussing the matter.
Sorry for my frustration, but I just do not understand this one at all.
Yeah, well, you have to understand the frustration that the council has too, Jim. We can't please everybody.
I understand, but this is, we're closing a road for two people. Well, really only one person, but we'll say two because two names were on that letter for some bit of garbage. And now we got apparently four-wheelers doing donuts on his property. Well, put a fence up if that's the case for your little piece of property that's in there. Heck,
Okay,
he just bought the property. We got all the dates and everything. We got all the facts on this. He just wants privacy. That's what he wants. But you know what? He should have thought about that before he bought that property. Put a fence
Okay.
up.
okay, Jim, thanks for your comments.
Okay. Thank you all. Sorry. Have a
No
great
problem.
Christmas, all of you.
No problem, Jim. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else, Ms. Lee, that wants to speak?
Nobody else has their hand up.
Okay. There's no closed meeting. You can see the notice of the next meetings, January the 4th, which is the one item meeting, which will be the formal passing of the budget. Then the 18th, and these meetings all via Zoom because of the Omicron COVID outbreak. So before I go or ask for the mover and seconder for the confirmative bylaw, I just want to make a couple of comments for council and staff. It's been a very difficult year. We've had a lot of things that council has had to take care of and staff have had to step up and go above and beyond what has been required or is required of staff to do to get through this year as smoothly as we did. I want to say thank you to all staff for the Township of McNabb-Braeside. They've done a fantastic job in keeping the township moving forward. And to all of council, thank you. We've progressed. Even during COVID, we have made great progress in my opinion, in the township and moving everything forward. So wishing everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stay safe, get vaccinated. So I need a mover and seconder for the confirmatory bylaw, please. Councillor Jacob, Deputy Mayor Armstrong, all in favor? That is carried. Thanks very much. We'll see you next year, I guess.